What if I told you that Samsung just figured out how to save your expensive foldable phone from one of its biggest weaknesses? We're talking about foreign objects getting stuck in your fold and potentially cracking that beautiful inner display. Today we're diving into Samsung's game-changing foreign material detection feature that could be coming to their foldables very soon. But that is not all. We're also getting our best look yet at Samsung's mysterious Wide Z Fold that everyone's been talking about. This could be the foldable phone that finally gets everything right, and I am honestly more excited about this than I have been about any foldable in years. So stick around because we're about to break down everything we know about Samsung's upcoming foldable lineup and why this new detection feature might be exactly what foldable phones have been missing. Let me start by talking about why this foreign material detection feature is such a big deal. If you have ever owned a foldable phone, you know that keeping the hinge area clean is basically a full-time job. I have been using the Z Fold 7 for months now, and I absolutely love this phone. Samsung made it thinner, lighter, and better than ever. But even with all these improvements, I'm constantly worried about getting dust, lint, or even tiny pieces of debris stuck in the fold. When you close your foldable with something stuck inside, you are basically creating a pressure point that can crack or damage that expensive inner screen. We have all heard horror stories about people finding a single grain of sand that completely destroyed their display. That is where Samsung's new foreign material detection feature comes in. And honestly, it is kind of genius. According to leaked information from One UI 9 builds, this feature will actually alert you when your foldable is not closing properly because something is stuck inside. Think about how simple but effective this is. Instead of forcing your phone closed and potentially damaging it, you will get a notification telling you to check for foreign materials. The leaked code strings show that Samsung is really thinking about user safety here. They are not just detecting when something is wrong. They are actively helping you prevent expensive screen damage. And here is what I love about Samsung's approach. They are giving users the option to turn off these alerts if they do not want them. Power users who know what they are doing can disable the feature, while regular users get that extra layer of protection. Now let's talk about the really exciting part, the leaked graphics that came with this feature reveal. Samsung included 3 images in the code, and each one shows a different upcoming foldable using code names. We are seeing the Fold 8, the Flip 8, and most importantly, the Wide Fold that everyone's been speculating about. This is not our first look at the Wide Fold, but seeing all 3 devices together gives us a much better idea of Samsung's complete foldable strategy for next year. The aspect ratio difference between the regular Fold 8 and the Wide Fold is really obvious in these images. The Wide Fold has this passport-like appearance that immediately reminded me of the original Pixel Fold design. And honestly, that makes me incredibly excited because I thought Google was onto something special with that form factor. The original Pixel Fold had this perfect front screen that was wider than most foldables at the time. It was shorter overall, which made it super comfortable to hold. But that wider front screen was amazing for watching videos and playing games. When you held it sideways, the experience was so much better than the narrow, tall screens we get on most foldables. Then when you opened it up, you got this beautiful passport-sized display that felt natural for reading, browsing, and multitasking. I was genuinely disappointed when Google moved away from that design with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. They seemed to abandon what made their foldable unique just to chase what Samsung was doing with their traditional fold design. But now it looks like Samsung might be coming full circle and creating their own version of what made the original Pixel Fold special. If the rumors are true, the Wide Fold will have a 16:10 aspect ratio when opened, which would make it a direct competitor to Apple's rumored iPhone Fold. And this is where things get really interesting for the overall foldable market. We are hearing more and more evidence that Apple is finally ready to enter the foldable space this year. The mock-ups and dummy units that have been floating around show Apple going with that shorter, wider design philosophy. It is very similar to what Google did with the original Pixel Fold. And now Samsung seems to be preparing their own version. This could create a really interesting dynamic where we have 2 distinct foldable design philosophies. You will have the traditional Samsung approach with the regular Z Fold 8, a tall, narrow front screen that opens to a more square inner display. Then you will have this new category with the Wide Fold, competing directly with Apple's approach and focusing on better multimedia consumption and one-handed usability. From what I can see in these leaked graphics, the Wide Fold also appears to have softer corners than current Samsung foldables. Now, this could just be an oversight in the graphic design, but I am hoping it is intentional because softer corners would make these phones much more comfortable to hold. Sharp corners have always been one of my minor complaints about Samsung's design language, so any improvement there would be welcome. The timing of all this is really interesting too, because Samsung typically announces their foldables in the summer. We are probably looking at a July or August announcement for the Z Fold 8, Z Flip 8, and potentially this wide fold. That would put Samsung ahead of Apple's typical fall announcement schedule, which could be a smart strategic move. Samsung has been in the foldable game for 7 generations now with the Z Fold series. They have built up incredible expertise in hinge design, screen technology, and software optimization. Taking all that knowledge and applying it to a completely different form factor could result in something really special. Imagine getting the build quality and screen technology that Samsung is known for, but in the more practical form factor that made the original Pixel Fold so appealing. You'd get a Snapdragon 8 Elite processor instead of Google's Tensor chips, Samsung's industry-leading display technology, and their mature foldable software experience. That combination could create the best wide-format foldable we have ever seen. Of course, it is still very early in the development cycle, and nothing is confirmed until Samsung officially announces it. But the fact that we are seeing this foreign material detection feature being developed specifically with multiple foldable codenames suggests that Samsung is serious about expanding their lineup. The feature itself might also come to older Samsung foldables through a software update, though that is not confirmed yet. Since this is showing up in early One UI 9 builds, there's still time for Samsung to decide whether to make it available on current devices. I really hope they do, because current Z Fold owners could definitely benefit from this kind of protection. One thing that is worth noting is how this leak happened in the first place. It shows how much interest there is in Samsung's upcoming devices, but it also suggests that their internal security might need some work. For us as consumers though, these leaks give us a great preview of what is coming and help us make better purchasing decisions. If you are thinking about buying a foldable this year, knowing that Samsung might release a completely different form factor in the summer could influence your choice. The foldable market is getting more competitive and diverse than ever before. We have got traditional foldables, flip phones, trifold devices, and now these wider format options. Samsung is positioning itself to compete in multiple categories, while companies like Apple are just entering the space. That experience advantage could be huge, especially if they can nail the software optimization for different form factors. So there you have it. Samsung's foreign material detection feature could be a game changer for foldable reliability, and the wide fold might finally give us the perfect foldable form factor. This is shaping up to be an incredible year for foldable phones, with Samsung expanding their lineup, Apple potentially entering the market, and new features that actually solve real-world problems. I want to know what you think about all this. Are you excited about the possibility of a wider Z Fold that focuses more on multimedia and practical daily use? Do you think the foreign material detection feature is something that should have been included from the beginning? And which form factor do you prefer, the traditional tall fold or this new wider approach? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I love hearing your perspectives on these topics. If this video helped you understand what Samsung might be planning for their next foldables, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay updated on all the latest foldable news and Samsung leaks, definitely subscribe and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, and peace out.